All right, so step number one is research your market. Know your target audience. Is it between 15-year-olds to 20-year-olds? Is it 20 years old to 30 years old? Is it the rich people? Is it a luxury brand where only some special people can get it, where they have money? Like Gucci, for example. So these, like, is it an affordable brand? Is it a rich brand? So you need to know who you're targeting, because if you don't, then you're gonna be stuck in a loop, not getting sales. So what I would say is know who you're targeting. Like, for example, Rosie would be targeting, let's just say, between ages of 15 to basically 25, because these people are more likely to spend their money on clothes, on fashion, to stick out or to be popular amongst their friends. So that's how I started it. So, and another rule is know your competitors. So in your local state, or even within your friend group, if they have clothing brand, you are basically competing with them as well. Obviously keep it low key, but you are competing with them, because the more sales that you get, the higher your brand is, the more successful it could be, like Gucci and Louis Vuitton and all this kind of stuff, right? So know your challenges, know your competitors, okay, and the trends. So for example, streetwear brand is one of the most basically trending clothes, okay, after maybe luxury. So streetwear clothing brand is essential for the economy, the world, basically, because every celebrity, every famous person wears streetwear, like Supreme and any North Face, for example. These kind of brands, they're wearing it, instead of Gucci and all this kind of stuff. So you need to understand that your competitors are very important. So you need to learn from them as well, not just compete. So just learn from their mistakes, learn from their basic successes, and your brand will surely become a success. And that's what I did. I didn't bring someone else down and basically make them feel bad for what they did, but rather I learned from them. Like, I used to ask them questions, be like, hey, like, what have you done that didn't go well, for example, and I learned from those mistakes, because so I can avoid making mistakes in making a clothing brand, right? So that is rule number one, okay? So another one is define your brand identity. What I mean is decide on your brand's name, okay? So what is your brand name, and does it mean something to you? If it doesn't mean something to you, then you're probably most likely not gonna like it, because you don't like the name. So you need to think of a really, really unique name where you basically didn't heard of it before. Like Rosie, it was an accident, okay? So I'll discuss in another video on why I started Rosie, but to make it short, basically I started it because I wanted to be a model, like a clothing brand model, right? But since I was basically 5'4" or something, I was short. So basically no clothing brand would take me on because of my height. So what I said to myself was, I was sitting down and I was like, that's interesting. What if I start a clothing brand where I can involve, no matter what people's height is, wherever they come from, whatever their race is, you know what I mean? Because it is a very, very, like, unfortunate case where people will say your height makes a lot of impact. Okay, and I don't believe in that, because anyone can do modeling, honestly. Okay, and coming from a brand owner, I hire everyone, like, whether they're based off like different like international, for example. I'll send like a piece of clothing to them, or even if they're local, I invite them to, if they want to do some modeling sessions. You know what I mean? So if you're passionate, I'm taking you on with my team. So another one is why you're starting a clothing brand. That is the most important case, because many people don't know why they started. Many people start because of money, and what happens is, once they make money, okay, let's just say 10k, 20k a month, let's just say, then at one point you reach a stage where you don't want to continue, because basically you're earning money but you're not doing what you love. So making a clothing brand is basically an easy path, okay, to making money, okay? But it is challenging but easy, okay? But it is rewarding. But if you're not passionate about it, then you will basically eventually reach a point where you will hit a boundary and you can't go forward, okay? Because you know why? Because you're not passionate enough. So what happens is, if you're passionate about it, you'll just keep flying towards the moon, basically, you know? So you need to know these kind of stuff. And another big important factor is know your design aesthetics. So are you going for a, like I said, a luxury brand where you want the clothing pieces to be very colorful, very outstanding, you know what I mean? But whereas like streetwear is basically just most times it's basically plain colors, white, black, and just with a just with a logo in the middle. You know what I mean? Like Supreme, that's what they did in a box, and legit people, like, they're selling like crazy. So you need to understand what kind of aesthetic you're going for. Some people do some crazy flower designs and all that kind of stuff on a shirt, and that's okay as well. So you need to know your design aesthetic, and if it makes sense to you, if you really like the design, okay, and that is the most important thing to you. So if it's important for you, then just do it, because most likely it is going to be trending at one point. Like Supreme, they just did it in a box, and now look at it, everyone wearing it. You know what I mean? So just keep up the designs, just work on it, just get an art book, and just basically just draw out, sketch out some important logos, important designs on t-shirts and hoodies and whatever you're selling on that piece of journal. And basically, if it's important for you, make it important, tell people about it, expose on social media, and basically just keep brainstorming. And that follows up with number 3, which is brainstorm ideas for your clothing brand and the pieces of clothing that you want to offer. So are you going to be selling some hoodies? Are you going to be selling some t-shirts? Are you going to be selling some jeans? You know what I mean? So you need to know these kind of stuff. Okay, so if you're doing these three things, right? So hoodies, t-shirts, and jeans, you are competing with 3 markets. So t-shirts, hoodies, and jeans market. Okay, so you need to basically make the best quality for each 3. If it's not the best, like best 3 qualities, then you will have some challenges in the future, because another clothing brand, your competitor, could be making better quality. So once after the wash for a few times, it may just wear off, and you will have a bad reputation under your clothing brand's name. And this is very, very important for you to realize that you need to have a good manufacturer. And that follows on with number 4, which is find a good manufacturer. Okay, I have some manufacturers that I will dedicate another video to, where I will discuss and research for you guys the best clothing manufacturers in the world. What I do is I do it from Pakistan, where they offer me the best prices, and they offered me the best quality. Okay, so this is very important. Make sure that you get samples first. I know it costs a bit, but once you get your samples, you can feel the fabric. Okay, you can feel it, and if it's nice for you, that's the most important thing. So if you like it, then that will basically hopefully make other people like as well, because you like it. So know your standard of clothing, so know what kind of pieces you're into, okay, and the fabric and the quality you're into, and then basically just work off that. Tell your manufacturer that you want basically cotton, you want bamboo, like these kind of fabric, or even polyester, for example. So you need to know what kind of quality you're going for. Obviously, the higher the quality, the higher the cost will be. But if you get a wholesale, if you get like 1,000 pieces, you'll get it for like basically $8 a piece of just making logos with like t-shirts, you know, and you could be selling it for basically, let's just say $60, $50, and your profit margin is above $42. So it depends. So know your quality that you want. When you're starting off a clothing brand, I would recommend just starting off with a low one, just because you know you're basically on a strict budget where you don't have much money, so you need to understand that you are working on a budget. So just prototypes, just to get samples, and if it's a decent quality, okay, then you can work off that. Okay, then sketch out everything, the pieces that you want, basically how many stock you want. And once you do this, okay, now you can build a website of your clothing brand where it looks professional, and basically you're showcasing your clothing pieces, and you're going to be making sales. Okay, so you need to take photographs of every clothing pieces on a white background, so that makes them more professional, yeah? So you just take photos and everything, right, on every clothing pieces, and basically get some models, get some friends, or get even yourself to take for someone to take photos of you, so you can be a model of your own as a start off, because you're on a strict budget, let's just say. So once you showcase your clothing brand onto your website, then all you need to do is market the crap out of your pieces, all right? The pieces of your clothing, of your brand. So you need to promote it on social media like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, anything. You need to get in like influencers, like these basically like models who have over 200k followers, okay? You need to do email marketing. You need to think of strategies such as like hiring influencers to promote your clothing pieces, or even doing some organic TikTok like basically marketing where you don't spend money on your advertising. Okay, and basically you will start getting sales once you start doing this. And you need to monitor your finances as you do this.